2, 1. We are live with who I have to say is the one, the only, the king of shovel style, the man that runs the brand. He will make you eat his feet. The one, the only, the Grimster, Grim himself, the owner, the GTS Intercontinental Champion. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man? Thanks so much for having me on tonight. I really appreciate this, and I'm excited to talk to you tonight. I'm excited to talk to you again. It's been a little while, but let's catch up. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, we've done some fun stuff, man. And it's funny because it goes back to it actually was brought up today on social media. Coincidentally, JD brought it up. It goes back to that NXT house show we went to in Toms River, New Jersey back in the day. Yeah. And that was awesome, dude. That was like, I knew who you were. I wasn't a huge viewer of the show, but everybody in the community knew who Grim was. So when I met you, I was like, holy shit, dude, this is pretty cool. And it turns out that we're both from the same town and all that stuff. And that kind of spiraled into you doing stuff with JD. Right. And as to people who don't know, obviously anyone who watches this probably does. JD from New York. And then I started working with you too, doing some stuff. You know, I did a referee job. You kind of kicked my ass a little bit my first day in the job. We did some stuff in the arcade that was fun. So I just wanted to give a little bit of my backstory there with you, man. So tell everybody, like, what's been going on with you? How's everything going?
It's been really tough with the pandemic and everything going on to, host a wrestling show. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's close contact with people, and we usually have multiple people, on my show. You know what I mean? I have a roster of 50 wrestlers, and then we have people in and out from television, from independent wrestling, actors and crew and whatever, so a lot of it has been difficult to do because, obviously there's a pandemic going on. We don't want to get sick. We don't want to catch the COVID, you know what I mean? And we've gotten really lucky in the fact that we haven't had a COVID outbreak at GTS, knock on wood. A couple of our wrestlers have caught it, but it was like one of those things where we didn't have taping that day when they found out anyway. And it was like, oh, good, because that could have been bad, And we did have like a scare about 3 weeks ago where, someone was at the taping and then they found out the next day they had COVID, and it was like, oh shit, we all had to go get tested and everything. And, luckily nobody caught it. And I find that crazy. I'm like, we wrestled with this guy in the ring and none of us got it from him.
You were outside.
We were outside.
That's a big part of it. And that's something that's a linchpin of what GTS wrestling really is. And that's what I found to be interesting in this, short amount of time. And I'm going to go back. Trust me. If I'm still invited, I will come back. But the short amount of time I did spend hanging out with you guys, the camaraderie is really unbelievable. And I happen to be involved at a kind of a tumultuous time, a weird run for the Grimster. You were kind of, you were unleashing some of your demons onto the world. And like the camaraderie was still there, man. Everybody was still into it and loved it. And that's something that I believe comes from you and your attitude and the way you've been able to kind of like do this thing and build it all. You're the man. You do it. It's your baby. It's your project. So talk a little bit about that, how the camaraderie of the roster and the GTS attitude is kind of like come from you in a sense.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it comes from the fact that we're all working together for the same goal. You know what I mean? And I like to take care of the people that take care of me. You know what I mean? I'm very, I look at it as, when one person wins, everybody wins. You know what I mean? Like, not so much that it's like everybody gets a participation trophy or anything like that, but it's, when we all work hard and we all work hard together, we all benefit from the result. You know what I mean? It's a team. Mm-hmm. It's Grimm's toy show. And, technically I could make videos by myself sitting in a room playing video games. I have a lot more fun being outdoors and wrestling and chasing people around and, having a story and all that kind of stuff that goes with it. You know what I mean? And you need that effort from everyone. You know what I mean? And,
yeah, totally.
Yeah. And the people that work and wrestle and participate and perform on my show, they know that their performance is being seen by a lot of people. You know what I mean? And a lot of the most mind-blowing things that happen, people don't realize. It's like, oh, we make YouTube videos. We put them out on YouTube. They get views, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? But then you run into somebody like Triple H or Drew McIntyre, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I've seen your videos." It's like, wait,
Yep.
wait. The WWE champion Drew McIntyre watches my videos, and he goes, "I follow you on Twitter. You didn't know?" And I'm like, "What?" like I must have missed that notification.
That's awesome.
You know what
That's
I mean?
awesome. Yeah.
Like, how cool is that? You know what I mean? And that's just one example of many over the years. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Kevin Owens was like, I'm waiting online to meet Kevin Owens, like any random fan. You know what I mean? And he's doing one of these, like looking like pointing at me, like he knows who I am, you know? And I get up to him and he's like, "Oh, the infamous Grimster, my twin brother that everyone, you know, really getting sick of that shit. All your fans tweeting at me all the time that we're twins just because we both have the same haircut and facial hair."
Dude, it's funny, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's crazy to realize we're not just making YouTube videos that are watched by random people on YouTube. We're making YouTube videos that are watched throughout the community. You know what I mean? And even before that, before I was doing the wrestling so much, like I was making action figure episodes, you know what I mean? And just reviewing Raw. And then you find out R-Truth blocked me, right? And I'm like, what? I didn't tag him in anything horrible or anything like that. And then, you know, so I put out a tweet. Well, I wonder why R-Truth blocked me. And he goes, "You know what you said last week on your review, you motherfucker." Like, he went on Twitter for a day and buried me for 24 hours straight about what a piece of shit I am for what I said about him on my review, you know? And I'm like, no, I'm a fan. Just because I didn't like what happened on Raw last night or your segment, it was dumb. Like, just
yeah.
You or I want to be blocked. Like, I'm an actual fan of R-Truth. Who doesn't like R-Truth? You know what I mean? Like, True. But it was crazy how adamant this guy, he saw my video and was fucking mad about it. And I'm like, you know what? This is a lot bigger than I think. Because to me, I'm just sitting in my room making a video, or I'm out in my backyard making a video. And it's like, oh shit, everyone in the world can see this, you know, and God knows who in the industry is watching it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know more than anyone because you've been doing this for a decade now, right? 10 plus years?
Absolutely. Yeah. 10
yeah,
years.
So
is this
so there you go. So like the business continues to evolve, not just the wrestling business, but the entire social media game. And one thing you've been big on lately is TikTok, and you've leveraged that. And I've helped out with the GTS wrestling channel, and that's been something that I've really enjoyed doing. But you've leveraged it to even get a new I guess group of people to join you on this platform, because you've had to have extended your fan base. No, like talk a little bit about the evolution of like the not just the Grim character, but like you and how social media is kind of moving in a different direction.
Right. Well, you know, the thing is, when you started YouTube, when I started anyway, 10 years ago, it was like the Wild West. You know what I mean? It was anything goes. You know, you make a video. The only thing you couldn't do was copyrighted stuff. You know, you couldn't use people's music or other videos, but it was the Wild West otherwise. You know what I mean? And a lot of my content was really pushing the envelope, you know? And I'm like, but I feel like this is what people want to see right now. They want to see the kind of shit that they're not seeing on TV. You know what I mean? They want to, like, I feel like I pioneered the comedy toy review. You know what I mean? Most people would open a toy and they would tell you about it in a very professional manner. Everybody wanted to be very professional, you know? And I said, I'm going the opposite way. I said, I'm going to make this with my iPhone, you know, in my toy room, and I'm just going to be funny because I felt like I was funny, you know? And they blew up. People were like, this shit's hilarious. This fucking guy is insane. I can't believe what he says. You know what I mean? And that caught, of course, attention from WWE wrestlers, you know what I mean? Where they would tweet me and go, "What the fuck was that video last night, man?" And like, I was like, "Oh shit, fucking Tensai is pissed." You know? I gotta fucking tweet for Tensai, like tag the guy, you know? And
that's amazing.
He goes, "Hey, Grimm's Toy Show, what the fuck was up with that video last night, man?" Like, whoa, Tensai seen that video I made about his toy? You know, and then, you know, then you meet the guys and you find out, well, they travel a lot. They're on airplanes a lot. They're watching these videos, you know, but then YouTube changed. Then they didn't want things to be as hardcore and whatever. They demonetized things that were too far or whatever. So you had to ride that wave. You know, we had to go through the demonetization where we had to tone it back, make it family friendly. Then they wanted longer TV quality type content. So then we had to, once again, change to that. Now I feel they're going back towards micro content like TikTok, 15 seconds, you're in and out. You know what I mean? You could watch, 30, 40 TikToks in a couple of minutes, and now YouTube's like, oh shit, nobody wants 10+ minute videos anymore. They want 15-second videos. So now YouTube's dialing it back. They're coming out with clips and the stories and, short videos. And you just got to keep evolving, because if you think, well, this is what's working for me today, it's not going to work for you in 6 months. I promise. And I've luckily been able to keep in tune with, not always, I still fuck up, but I've always said, okay, oh shit, all right, TikTok is the thing right now. We got to start focusing on TikTok. And that kind of blew up during quarantine,
Yeah, 100%. And if you have a lot of fans, a lot of viewers out there, I'm hoping a lot of your fans see this video, and then feel free to share it around, man. Like do what you can, because I want this message to get out here. You're a normal dude from my hometown, working a 9-to-5 job, grinding, family life, and you decided one day that you're a funny guy. Obviously, you're fucking hilarious, dude. You just are. And you decided one day that that's it. I'm going to put the power into my own hands. I'm going to make the jump. I'm going to get out of my 9-to-5, and probably one of the scariest things you've done, I think, a big challenge, but you jumped out of that into the world of being an entrepreneur, doing it yourself. You've been doing it now for you tell me the story of how you actually dove into becoming a full-fledged influencer and entrepreneur.
Okay. Well, as a kid, this was like what I always wanted to do. I wanted to be a late night host. I wanted to be a comedian or a wrestler or a buddy comedy, or be like the sidekick to the main character. That's, the funny guy in the movie,
Chris Farley or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Chris Farley. Exactly. I always wanted to do something like that, because growing up, those were the channels that you plugged yourself into, and none of that was working out for me. Then I was like, well, I'll be a wrestler. I could definitely wrestle. Went to that. Didn't get very far in pro wrestling either. You know what I mean? And then I shut down. I kind of gave up, and I said, well, all right, now I got kids to feed and whatever. And now I'm driving a truck for a soda company. You know what I mean? And it was just the grind. You say 9 to 5. It was more like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You know what I mean? And it was like, this sucks. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I feel like I'm funny and talented, and I just can't catch a break, no matter what I tried. YouTube comes along and says, you can monetize content. I said, I'm going to be fucking rich. As soon as they said, you can monetize your own content, I said, I'm going to be rich. And everybody was looking at me like I was an idiot. And I was like, oh, watch. I'm going to make funny YouTube videos, and I'm going to get popular. And bitch, I did. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like easy. I still feel like people look at me like, oh, Dave, which is my real name, oh, Dave just, he started filming himself with his iPhone. It's so easy. Anybody can do it. I just don't want to put myself out there. You know what I mean? But no, that's not it. Because let me tell you how many people picked up their phone and tried to make content, and they go nowhere. You got to constantly grind. You got to be consistent. You got to be up with the trends. What's funny, what's not funny. Sometimes you think what's funny to you ain't funny to everybody else, and you get canceled. You know what I mean? Like, shit hits the fan, and it's constant work up all night. I work harder now than I ever did working 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. driving a truck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can edit my videos sitting here in my chair in my living room. You know what I mean? I don't have to go anywhere. But then your family and your friends, they think, oh, he doesn't even work. He's sitting home doing nothing. I call him. He come help me move my couch real quick. Like, oh, bitch, I'm fucking working.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't get it, man. It's like I did the Seaside Heights thing for a while, and that was like 12 hours a day, 70 hours a week and whatnot, even selling cars when I did that 60-hour weeks and stuff. So I get that part of it, but I've tried to do that entrepreneurship game, and every time I just can't seem to get to that point where I can say goodbye to my day job and then just really get to that point where I'm making enough money. But I feel like it's just persistence over time.
Yeah, that was like the craziest thing for me was I was working those crazy hours and then coming home and working on my content, and I worked on the content, build up the YouTube channel. And then all of a sudden I was making 4 times more money on YouTube than I was at my day job. And I'm like, why am I doing this day job? Why do I consistently get up every day? It's just because that's what I was programmed to do. You have to get up and go to work every day. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what if I didn't do this? I'm still going to have money. It's still coming in. It's coming in more than when I go there. But what if I don't know? I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? And then just shit hit the fan at work one day, and I said, fuck this, and walked out. And then I was like, oh my God, what did I do? Holy fuck, I just quit my job. I had a good job. You know what I mean? I made good money. I had pension. I had health benefits, union, all that kind of stuff, vacation time. You fucking name it. I was set. I was there 15 years. And I just walked out. And I was like, oh my God, now I'm fucked. Now I have videos. You know what I mean? But there also becomes a spot where it becomes, this is my job now, and this is what I depend on to eat. And then it becomes not as fun.
It becomes your grind. It becomes your hustle. It's right. Mandatory now. It's not a hobby anymore.
Right. It was my hobby up until that day. And then I was like, oh shit. Like, I gotta fucking grind, right? I gotta do this. And at first I was really, really exceeding. You know what I mean? Then I realized some of my best ideas and my best thoughts came being miserable at work. I was doing mindless work, and that's where all my best ideas came from. And now I don't have that anymore. Now,
and that's actually true. If you study entrepreneurship and things about the brain, actually a lot of entrepreneurs, they will suggest to entrepreneurial minds, to people who haven't gotten that point yet, to do a job that's mindless, just do something that's brainless, so you can have ideas go in your head all day long to try to figure out how to get out of that brainless job.
Yep. Go paint a house.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. Go paint a house, and you'll be so bored out of your face going up and down with a paintbrush that you're going to start thinking of genius ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And next thing you know, you can have that idea. But, as an entrepreneur now, I got to constantly think what's going to resonate with the audience, what's going to make money, what's going to be a fun video, you know what I mean? And then you have real life issues. The pandemic comes along and shuts down your wrestling show, and I can't have 50 people in the yard performing wrestling anymore.
And Grim, not just that, but you were about to have your first live event.
Yeah.
And that got postponed indefinitely. I was pumped up for that. I was ready to go to it. We were going to do all kinds of coverage. Tell me about that, man. That's obviously on the back burner for the foreseeable future. Yeah. But tell me a little bit about the plans behind that. If you want to give some spoilers, maybe what we were going to expect, feel free.
One of the things that I was putting off for a long time was moving into live events, because the area I live in New Jersey, it's the Wild West for pro wrestling. There's no athletic commission. There's no licenses required. There's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to show, you make a wrestling show. So I was like, it's so oversaturated here. Every weekend there's 16 shows. I'm like, I don't want to be the 17th guy, But then again, I have a brand that might outdraw the 16 other brands.
Oh, yeah.
I said, all right, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to just do it. I'm going to see how it goes. I planned this huge event. I sunk so much money into it. I put so much planning into it. And literally the week before the show was supposed to happen, the world shuts down for COVID-19. And it was like, I feel honestly like it wasn't meant to happen. Like, I'm still going to do it. But I don't want to do it under COVID restrictions. I don't want to do it distancing. I want to wait until the show can be fully packed, full of screaming fans, salivating. You've now not only waited my whole career for me to do this, but now you've waited a whole extra year on top of quarantine to see Grim go out there and fucking really turn it up and put on a live event. And I want this to be like the biggest banger wrestling indie show in New Jersey's ever seen. You know what I mean? And I really will be when it finally happens.
Definitely. And I have to just assume that Joey Ryan is no longer invited, correct?
Yeah, no.
All right. Yeah. Take your time, man.
No. He's been like, there's a thing, some people get canceled and then some people get fucking canceled. Like he's fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Did you see the shit he's pulling lately? He's been uploading to his YouTube video like boobplex compilations where every single video is him with his hands on the woman wrestler's boobs, like in the thumbnail.
I feel like something happened with him where, he just doesn't get it. Like, okay, he was accused of things and none of us were there to know what happened, whether it's true, not, whatever. But you have to take that seriously and address it seriously. You know what I mean? That's, legal, and it wasn't just one person, it was multiple. So then you start to say, well, shit, there's a fucking pattern here. You know what I mean? And then you say to yourself, especially with his response, he came out and made a video, pretty much admitted to everything. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
now you're buried because now you just admitted to everything. Okay. And then on top of it, then you're sitting there. Okay, wait, his gimmick was grabbing dicks and boobs. Like, and okay, so maybe he wanted to be inappropriate in front of people. Maybe that gets him off or something. You know what I mean? Then you start to say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, fuck, this guy's really fucked up. You know? And then he still doesn't quit.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
He really just needs to deactivate and go deliver soda or something. Go paint houses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Switch places with you. Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, it sucks. And like, I feel like, you know, at some point, everybody runs out of steam, you know, no matter what entertainment you're in. Nobody, you know, Monday Night Raw has been on the air for 34 years, but it hasn't been the Hulk Hogan show for 34 years. You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah.
Like, everybody runs out of steam at some point. I'm going to run out of steam at some point. I'm not going to be jumping through tables 10, 20 years from now. You know what I mean? I know it's coming, but I'm preparing for it. You know what I mean? You got to prepare yourself for that time of not only it ending, but it ending suddenly and unexpectedly, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I want to put a cherry on top of our conversation about entrepreneurship real quick. And then I want to move on to something a little more fun because I know our time is a little bit winding down now. So first of all, I want you to give advice to, you know, your fans out there. Cause let me tell you something, bro. I'm kind of your admin as far as TikTok is concerned, Facebook, and I get a lot of messages and these kids love you, man. You know that. So anyone give some like real practical, real life advice. And if somebody wants to make that jump from having their 9-to-5 job, or maybe they're a young entrepreneur and they want to kind of make that leap, give them some advice.
Okay. Well, you know, the best thing to me is you have to invest in yourself. And so many people don't want to do that. You know, they'll spend $100 out at the bar tonight drinking and think nothing of it. They'll take a girl out to dinner and spend $60 on a dinner and think nothing of it. They'll order DoorDash, McDonald's, and pay 3 times the price and think nothing of it. But then when it's $20, $40, $100 to invest in yourself, they're like, oh, I don't got that kind of money. And it's like, no, you need to invest in yourself at all times. You need to believe in yourself, you know, just the same way you would buy a John Cena t-shirt and a John Cena hat and John Cena action figures. You got to invest in yourself, you know, and say, who am I? What am I capable of? Now, not everybody's going to be a social media guy, but maybe you want to start your own business. You know what I mean? The most beautiful thing in the world is to not have to answer to anybody. And I have problems with authority. Like, I don't like to answer to people.
Same, dude. Same with me.
You know, and the only person I want to answer to is myself. And the minute somebody tries to tell me you have to do this, you have to do that, I'm doing the complete opposite. And, you know, so therefore I have to invest in myself and say, no, this is who I am and this is what I'm capable of. And I will go out there. And it's time, it's money, it's effort, it's research. You know what I'm saying? And if you're putting that investment into yourself, you're going to fail. You know?
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. That's some great advice, man. And I want to pivot for a minute. And I do appreciate that because I'm actually going to take that advice to heart because I'm working on that, man. That's something that's why I'm doing this YouTube show. I've been doing this basically every single day over the past few weeks. But I got to talk to you about something. And this was the first thing that we ever worked on. If you can see the screen here, this is actually your most popular video on this channel by just a little bit. By just a little bit. So we don't have audio here, but let's take a look at this interaction that we had here inside the arcade that I was legit managing at the time. Let's take a look at this.
And dude, so this is a lot of times, especially with my vlogging, which this is, there's no plan, there's no script. A lot of people say, oh, it's planned, it's scripted or whatever. No, it's not. I walked into your arcade and then, you know, I said, oh, you know, can we do this? And you're like, yeah, can we do that? No, that's a little too far. Well, can we do this? You know, and it was one of those things where I was like, well, let's see how much I can get away with, you know? And, you know, whenever I do anything like this, oh my God, here he comes.
Yep. The manager is here.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is, when you go to Walmart and you do the shenanigans and stuff, there's a limit. You know, what's going to get me thrown out the store? Are they going to make me buy a product if I break it? Are they going to have me arrested? You know what I mean? And you never know where the line is till you cross it. I try not to cross the lines. I don't want to wreck things. I don't want to get people in trouble. I'm just trying to have innocent fun. You know what I mean? And in this scene here, this is something I really did in real life. You know,
yeah.
Like my daughter wants this. Like I can't win it. I'm not good at these little crane games. I'm not good at the little spinny wheels, but my daughter wants a gigantic thing. Can I give you money for it? You know? And some people will tell you no. And then they'll turn their back, and then she's gonna start playing with it.
yeah. Dude, so good. Yo, I got so much heat for that scene right there with the money. Imagine. Oh, I got so much heat. People bought it. People thought it was all real, that it was that what we were doing was completely 100% shoot. And that's the beauty of it, man. That's why I love this shit. This was so much, dude. I had so much fun doing this. My wheels were turning about the possibilities.
The thing is with this is we didn't plan this. It's not like, oh, I planned to come in here with my kids and wreck shop. It was just kind of happened. And it was like, well, let's see how much we can do. Let's see how much fun we can have without getting arrested or causing any real issues. Next thing you know, we're on Seaside Heights News Patrol. My face, it was, if you see this man, don't let him in your building, and I'm dying laughing. And the funny part about this is you're here in the Coin Castle. I legitimately live across the street at the time from the competitor down the boardwalk,
Yeah.
And I go walking out the door and he goes, "What the fuck did you do over in Seaside?" He goes, "They put your picture up all over my store of don't let this guy in." I go, "He's my fucking neighbor. The guy's a nice guy. What did he do?" And then they're showing me the video and I'm like, "Oh, they're probably in cahoots. They probably let him play around."
dude, this whole thing was so funny because I kept it quiet to management because I was the manager, but I wasn't the boss. Like I didn't own the arcade, so I kept it quiet to him. I kept it quiet. He was kind of in a bad mood at the time. Kept it quiet, but I knew it was coming. Like I knew it was coming, and then he came with it, and it was like I defended it. I'm like, dude. Don't you understand what viral marketing is? Don't you understand that this is $1 million video? And I said that. I was like, this is a 1 million view video all day. And he was like, there's no way anybody's watching that shit. You're out of your mind. He didn't understand it. And that really got to me.
Send him the link.
Man, this guy doesn't get it.
I would send him the link right now and go, what has it got? 6 million views on it or something?
3.3 million, bro.
There you go. I'd send them the link and be like, here you go. Look, 3 million views. And let me tell you how many people messaged me. What was that arcade? I want to go there.
Dude, let me tell you what, a couple weeks later, it was, I think summer just started. It was May or June. I had some kid walk up to me and ask me for a photo. He thought I was a celebrity. He thought I was he was like, you were on
that viral video. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, he didn't think I really managed the arcade. He's like, you really managed the arcade? I'm like, yeah, I really managed the arcade, man. Right. He's like, oh, we took a picture and I'm like, this is crazy. It's happened to me a few times in the wrestling scene, but never outside of wrestling has that ever happened to me. It was pretty cool moment and experience. We're about to get to the main event of this video. As you see, Grim is absolutely destroying this.
I'm giving this thing a German suplex in the pizza place.
You're in Three Brothers, and that was another thing. Like he's like, we got the Three Brothers pizza, yelling at us that he's throwing around the gorilla. I'm like, come on, man. He's
and the people in Three Brothers didn't say one word to me. There's three brothers, not one word was spoken. They didn't complain. They weren't mad. They just maybe they were scared. A lot of times people say nobody comes up and says anything to you because they're terrified. They're like, if this guy acts like this in public, what's he going to do if we say something to him? Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this was hilarious. Says, oh my God, the keys were left in the claw machine. And my daughter's like, I'm going in.
And I will take credit for that idea. Because that is something that I've seen actually happen before. Yeah. And I thought it was brilliant to actually, kind of set it up.
Right there was the thumbnail of her falling into the claw machine. And I said, as soon as I was like going through the video and I seen that screen grab, I go, that's the screen grab right there that people will click on. Holy shit, there's a little girl in the claw machine. I need to see this.
Yeah. And I come over, I go, whoa. I'm like, whoa. What's going on? And those are my keys, obviously. It's all set. Right. Yeah, it's great.
Right. Well, oh, you're the dumbass that left the keys in the machine. But do you know how many times you walk into a place and you see somebody's keys, or I'm in the Walmart, somebody left their scanner on a shelf. You know what I mean? You know how many times I've walked into the back room of Walmart? The funniest. All right. So I walk in the back room of Walmart all the time, just, like I own the place. So one time I walked into the back room of a Walmart and the guy came over and goes, "What are you doing back here?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing." And I started to walk away. Like I avoid the confrontation. He thought I was some sort of secret spy trying to get them all fired. And that's why I was recording. And
Oh,
really, I'm just
wow.
trying to hunt for toys. I'm like, where are you hiding the wrestling figures? So the guy goes, "What are you doing back here? Why are you filming?" I go, I was looking for the wrestling figures." And he goes, "No, you're from that CPS security. You're trying to get us all fired." I'm like, "Bro, I'm a YouTuber. I'm looking for wrestling figures." And
Do
he
you
didn't
have that
believe
video?
me. He
Do
thought
you
I was
have that
full of
video?
shit.
Is that video up?
I didn't post it. I was actually
Mm.
like, they were so upset that I thought I was trying to get them fired, like that I felt bad putting that video out. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
didn't put that up because, and like, you could say, "Oh, well, I don't believe you." Well, you can go watch my 19 other videos of me wandering around in the back room of Walmart. But I felt bad for them. I didn't want to get them in trouble. I didn't want them to lose their job. You know what I mean? I'm like, "No,
Totally.
I'm just an asshole YouTuber."
Yeah. Dude, and here's the kicker to this, man. This, like, we had a follow-up video where you guys were partying at Spicy's next door, and we did another little skit that was great. You actually came to the arcade a couple days later. You
Yep.
did an apology. I came and refereed, and that's the last thing I want to touch on real quick is
Okay.
my brief stint as a referee for GTS Wrestling, and hopefully I can return to the role sometime in the near future. I'd be honored to do that, but
Absolutely.
to look at this, bro.
Earlier, and I was like, "Oh shit, that was a razor's edge and a half right there."
Yeah.
How'd
Yeah,
that?
that was legit. Here's this backstory. Is I had no idea. So I went into this match, no idea what the finish was, no
Yeah.
clue, had no clue what I was doing.
No,
Uh,
I like to make my shit legit as possible. You know what I mean? And if
yeah,
he knows what's going on, nobody seems to give a fuck. But when nobody knows what's going to happen, you know what I mean? Everybody reacts to, "Holy shit, he just fucking slammed the referee."
yeah, and not only that, but this match involved light tubes, it involved tables, it involved all kinds of stuff. I was like, what is going on? But man, I'll tell you what, I was shook up just a little bit after that, but the next day I was pretty good. I was pretty
Good.
fine. And the funny thing about it is, like, I kind of instinctually, what would you rate this bump as far as a first bump ever taken? 1 to
That's a
10.
good bump for a first bump ever taken. Now,
Not
you
bad,
see,
right? Not terrible.
when your elbows go down, that's like a big no because you can fuck up
Mhm.
your elbows, you know. But like, you didn't put them down so far that you would
Yeah.
break your arms or anything. It was, I mean, they get a little scraped, but that wasn't a bad bump. I know guys who've been trained and who've been through wrestling school who've take worse bumps than that. So
I really appreciate that, bro. Thank
that
you.
was that your first bump ever?
First bump ever.
Okay, well,
Outside of like messing around with friends when I was a kid, like on the
But like
trampoline and stuff.
first
Like
bump
that's
in actual wrestling ring, like.
first. No. So you
Okay.
remember like Tom's River South used to have these little indie shows, and when I was
Yeah.
going to high school at Tom's River South, I helped set up the ring. So when I got in the ring, Tough Enough was on at the time, so I was
Okay.
watching how they
You
took.
thought
So
you were tough enough.
thought I knew how to take a bump, and I did one, and I knocked the shit out of myself. Went, and I got up and never did it again, man. I think I bumped a couple times on like the sand at the beach, but anyway, that was my first real bump in a match where I had no clue what was happening, and I had just screwed the Grimster, and it was a great moment for me, man. I had a lot of adrenaline. It was a lot of fun, bro.
Awesome.
Yo, so man, we'll wrap this up. Thank you so much for doing this. I want to have you back on because I want this show to be. This is my idea: is having this show being kind of like a revolving door of my friends coming on here, and we're just shooting the shit and having fun. We have so much that we didn't even talk about. I would love to talk to you about the Royal Rumble, about the road to WrestleMania. So hopefully you can come back on to another half hour with me in like a month or so. Is that cool?
Yeah, it sounds fun, man. Can't wait. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Give final words, bro. You got anything final words to say? Anything to promote? Anything you want your fans to hear?
Right now, we got a friggin' real problem going on with the GTS wrestling. We've been having, first of all, we got the COVID issue that we've been dealing with. You know what I mean? The Regal Rumble we just had. And then we got this guy on TikTok who's actually messing with us now, showing up. All these kids, they show up because, like, I'm just filming in a neighborhood. You know what I mean? And the kids hear the wrestling. They hear the screaming, the yelling. These kids show up on bikes, whatever. Now, all of a sudden, we got some kid, I think is a kid, trying to be part of the show. He puts on a scary mask, and now he thinks he's part of the show. You know, so we got that going on. That's a big problem. But, you know, follow me on TikTok at GTS Grim. Follow me on YouTube. I got a couple channels, Silly Super Pop channels where we wrestle. Grim Experience is where I do all kinds of random stuff, the vlogging, reactions, all that kind of stuff. I got action figures on Grimm's Gaming Toy Show and stuff. I appreciate the follows. We got 2 million follows. And if you're not down with that, we got 3 words for you. Eat it. Yeah.
I love it. Thanks, Grim. I'll talk to you later, my friend.
Brother, have a good night.
You too, man. Bye.